Good morning. Well, markets are trying to crawl off of this level here. Not doing a very good job of it. How many days can it last? Well, let's see if it gives it up today. It's been just going nowhere. Began the week. Title was a lot about nothing, and that's pretty much what it's been. A lot about nothing. A few things up this morning. Dan mentioned in the chat there, Dollar Tree and Dollar General, you know, inexpensive stores, so to speak. We saw retailers going up yesterday. That was kind of a weird thing, how they did. And I think it's more belief, whether it actually happens or not, we'll see. But I think it's more of a belief by institutions that a recession is coming and money should flow into stocks like Campbell's Soup, right? And those kind of things that if you're going to spend money, you better go eat soup out of a metal can filled with salt so you can survive. But here we are. I think NVIDIA reported and it was down a bit. Where is it? 163.44. Yeah, it's down a bit, but not breaking, not gapping below the prior bar's low, but it's but buyers, I think, have a certain amount of time to move this thing or it'll go down. And the Dow has been showing some relative strength. It's gotten past that halfway mark, but it's right up against the 20 here. And while subjective, it tends to be a level where things reverse. So I'd be keeping an eye on that. And of course, we have today and tomorrow, and looking at the weekly chart, we do have the beginnings of some kind of a turn here within a downtrend. Now, you can see it's a little extended to the downside, far from the 20 on the weekly, and got close here. And so we'll see where this ends the week. Can this stay up here today and tomorrow going sideways, which will give us a green bar? And then, of course, as we go into next week, does it go higher? Or does it become what Dan and I spoke about yesterday? This is in a downtrend. It's where it should reverse lower. It's been crawling its way up for several days. So if it hangs here and you get 2 days of going sideways and then it breaks the low, we could have a bull sandwich next week. So that's my thoughts going, we'll see where this is going to end the day and the week. But resistance is right up here. And typically what happens, if this was a low, it would have just shot up there like, a rocket. And this is just crawling its way up there. SPX, it's Thursday. Now we have SPX on Thursday. All right, so S&P's in the middle of the range here, up against some resistance, getting above a pivot, a little bit of strength. Another way of measuring crawling, slow momentum, is the distance between the highs. And so this is a kind of a breakout. So what to look for today? And you see it's at 4,000, and which it got backed off from yesterday at the close. If this is a breakout failure and the futures trade back down below, here's the low 38, 58.50, break below there, where's the next support? Right in our face. So we don't have a void, which leads to, unless some news comes out that jiggles the market to be able to go through that support, things are going to be jagged, choppy, right? Because when support levels are close to each other, that's just what you get. Now, this will be a little bit of a shock. It's been grinding higher, and look at those sides of that bar. And then, this one retested and came in, but buyers took control again and pushed it up, and a little kind of bear sandwich kind of thing there. And now it breaks out. So with all this consolidation, right, if you buy something like this, right, And immediately it comes right back in again. It's like, oh, that's not what should happen. It was a resting consolidation period and it broke out, especially with a bottoming tail bar like that. It should just blast off. Now, maybe it's waiting for the open to go higher. It's got room. But if it breaks below here, traders are going to get a little nervous because it's not what they're expecting. And this chart is a display of what they're expecting. Trying to get a little higher into the downtrend. I don't know what that is that you're showing me, Dan. Order single alternative system. You can talk about that. I don't know what that means. Okay. All right. So I'm not too excited on the long side at all. I'll be close to zero for now. 399 backed off from 400 up near the top of the bar. It does have room to go up if it can get above 400. And what do we want to do? 40.50 takes us to the middle of last Friday's bar. SPX 40.50. No. That's Friday. That's Wednesday. Last Friday. 2 Fridays. This Friday, last Friday. Okay, I got you. That doesn't mean anything, McGraw. That doesn't. That's this bar. Last Friday. No, that's this bar. I'm looking at my other charts. 40.25. Tuesday, Monday. You confuse me, my friend. Anyway, 40.50. 40.50 is up here. Obviously, that's the top of the bar. Top of this bar on the 18th. Right? So all of this stuff here, I don't pay much attention to it. You know, you can see as we move the cursor, you know, this is a good way of looking at the way I look at things as far as what's beyond what's directly to the left. And what we have here is a void. So it's struggling as it did yesterday at 4,000. I don't know if you were in the room yesterday, McGraw, but I did a 425, 450. I think it was probably on this bar here as it was just up there, like 45 cents. And that went to zero. Just fading the move up at that level there. And so now today, let's see where things are at. How far away can we get? $40.80, $40.85. Yeah, 40.85 should be fine. I don't even think it could get up there. But I would wait, you know, just to see if it does perk its head through 4,000. It'll start to travel and then we'll be able to get further away. On the downside, Jake said 38.90, 38.90. That pivot there. So if this does start to move, I'm going to have to do that. I think right at the open. It might be a little risky. I'm only saying that because where the Dow is at. I don't think there's more news coming tomorrow, economic news. So it's unlikely we're going to get any big moves today. That's just my thought. The markets would wait for that information. So I think, you could do either one. I mean, I always look to fade the move where the premium pops up and then you can get further away. Sometimes that waiting works against you and you miss it, but if that little breakout failure, if this actually starts to break lower, then then you could probably get down here next to this pivot. And then you got, well, you've got this line of defense at 39.40, this little congestion right there. And then of course down here, which I think should all be good. All right. And Q's just 0, nothing there. And something like this, I don't know. Dan, we can look and see if the Q's have any juice, but this just might be good for an iron condor. So this ain't going nowhere. It's dead in the water. And AM, we already looked at, tagging the 20. Russell tagging the 20, clearing these highs. So there is some possibility of higher. We'll see at the open whether buyers want to step up, they're aggressive, or whether there's some kind of failure there, the same little breakout going nowhere. So maybe waiting for the open. And Bitcoin. There's this correlation that we've been talking about. Bitcoin at the bottom of the trading range. I can drag this down here. Pretty tight. That is pretty tight. There is a duplicate thing there. Whatever. Let's go here. So that looks like it's going to break lower. So I suggest keeping an eye on that, because if it starts to break lower, and we talked about the fact that this was going nowhere, and markets don't always, these intermarket relationships don't always move lockstep with each other. But look at the weekly chart, how it's just kind of hanging here under 30,000. So if it starts to break here, if I was long this after seeing this and think, my first thought would be, well, it's moved a lot, it'll probably bounce. And that's the thought process behind a bearish consolidation, is that, hey, maybe you got caught in something and you think you can bounce back up, you get out at a better price, and it goes sideways all this time, and now it starts breaking the lows, and that's what increases the supply to drive it down. Now they got this bottoming tail bar there. Sometimes you get a whipsaw. I don't know if that'll happen, but if it goes through that bottoming tail bar, I think all hell's going to start breaking loose in Bitcoin land. So definitely keep an eye on that. Just to know, set an alert at the top here, and set alert at this, and set an alert down here, and or anything that correlates with this. Crude oil, kind of just middle of nowhere, doing nothing. Silver, doing nothing. Gold, doing nothing. Transports, just doing nothing. You got the breakdown, that's bearish. So why are buyers stepping up at all? Well, make some money here and there for different things that are showing some strength on any given day. And it's probably why, my thought anyway was later on, like yesterday, was like, why are all these retailing restaurant stocks, whatever, that have been getting crushed going up like this? Well, all of a sudden there's an opportunity for some of these things to move up, and these institutions must have a little hotline between them. Everybody jump on this. And you see those things on a 5-minute chart just went straight up. And so unbelievable buying. And yep, there it goes. So keep an eye on this. So let's see, just for the fun of it, let's just see if the S&Ps, the bar is getting a little bit more red. So when it's in an uptrend like this, traders are going to be hesitant to sell their longs. There's always that potential for a whipsaw. You put your stop further away just in case of a whip, similar to this, and that came back, and so that gives you reassurance. Oh, it's going to be okay. So now that it popped down and came back up, it's needs to take out the high. Now this bar's got 42 minutes to go, but if we look at that, let's look at, we got the 15-minute, which is a failed little buy setup. So when it gets down here, is Bitcoin Well, it's already breaking the bottom of the range. Is it down near that bottoming tail bar? If the S&Ps break here, that upside on SPX going to have to be considered early on. But it breaks below that tail. As I said, there are other spots that it's going to deal with, but failures increase supply that can push down through this level. So there are stops here. There are stops here. And look, you pick your stop. Do you share size it down here? And if it hits your stop, you get out of the way, or you share size down here. Which is the right one? Well, none of us know. Maybe they won't get that, any of them. Maybe it hit here and flip back up again. But this isn't a downtrend. Right? This isn't a downtrend. So better kind of be nimble. Floridian's telling me Erythium is breaking down. So that's going lower and going down pretty sharply. I don't know about any news. So coin, turning down. If that is gap, where's that? 63.55. Watch and see if this breaks the low. All right, this could be a good short. If that breaks the low there, this is going sideways. Same story. It can't go up. 1813. What I'm looking for is anything gapping below the low of the bar, and that is right. So that's bearish. This one here is kind of wild. Let's see, but Bitcoin's got problems here today. So we'll keep an eye on that. And interest rates rolling over a little bit. So maybe we get a little excitement here. We'll see how it goes, but that's about it. Downtrends across the board. Overnight, some strength. Yesterday, some strength. We'll see if it falls apart today or whatever. It's been a little bit of a grinder here this week. To you, Dan.
Good morning. I was listening to Maria Bartiromo. She was funny. She was talking to whatever guest she had on.
Dan.
But
25 years ago in White Plains, you used to stare at Maria Bartiromo and had a picture on your desk. You never said she looked funny.
yeah, that's true. She's my idol.
Okay.
But you know what? But in all seriousness, I think she was the first female announcer in the financial world. And I think she did a phenomenal job. I really do. And she looks great 25 years later. And another woman I respect, Greg, we used to trade her company, Muriel Siebert.
Yeah, you're really showing your age now. Did you date her at one time?
I still do. I think I afford my lifestyle.
The blonde lady was on that. Used to be FNN, wasn't it? Before CNBC, it was FNN. And there was a blonde lady that
But yeah, Muriel Siebert, she was a little firecracker, first public company for a discount brokerage firm. All right. But anyways, what Maria was saying was she was questioning this guy. She's like, all right, the minutes were out yesterday and the Fed's saying, yeah, we're going to continue rate hikes. We might have to put on the brakes. Today, GDP, whatever the heck it was, so they 30 worse than expected, and the markets are up 200 points. She's like, why? And, the guy had to come up with some answer because saying, I have no friggin' idea, then he won't be invited back to the show. But, I was thinking the same thing yesterday. Like, why are the markets rallying here? What on earth was revealed in the minutes? What? That we don't already know. Tell me one single thing that we don't know. But you know what? That's the markets. We don't care. They don't have to be rational. We're chart readers, and that's the beautiful thing of what we do. And then we read market internals and sentiment and breadth at extremes. That's our approach, and it works. All right, so all our opens are fine. Just ask if you have any questions, but yesterday into the close, I was bullish. I was bullish. We got the pullback, and I said, all right. I decided not to take overnight risk, but over yesterday's high, I was bullish short term under this 15-minute pivot from today's Thursday, from Tuesday. Then I'm bearish. There are my two lines in the sand. So within the first 30, 60 minutes, as long as we don't have a bearish retracement, which means, kind of giving up the whole gap, then 30-minute high, I'll be looking for more put spreads, particularly if they're 1DTD. I'm just looking at XLU here. No, that's XLE. We entered a bull call, beautiful bull call debit spread yesterday, but I'm staring at XLU. We had a beautiful, Greg. Look at that. We got 3 cents off the low yesterday, our entry. Beautiful. All right, couple gappers here. Splunk bottom right is one of my favorite put spread setups here. It's gap and a resistance. I get it. But look at that beautiful W bottom. What makes it not a beautiful directional is the retracement went sideways and is now, whatever, you can count them, 8 bars of resistance. We want the fluid move and retracement to be from a V top, similar to like we teach in a buy setup. We want the prior high to be a V top. Why? Because it's less resistance to get through. Simple. We teach a 8-year-old child that. But for a put spread on earnings with high volatility, let's see what it does in the first 30 minutes, and that looks fantastic as a put spread. TD, okay, it's now showing a gap. It didn't earlier, but here's a bottoming pattern. Gap breakout from bottoming pattern. This looks good as a directional over 30-minute high. Target, 50, get a buck or so out of it. Had a couple crazy, let's see, I'll just go with some of the standouts here first. Snow, gapping down 117. That's a big gap. That's nasty. I don't know what to do with that. GME, Greg flagged yesterday. I sure wish we found that earlier. Wow, that's a beautiful igniting bar. Dollar General here, 221. Look at that, gapping right to the 200. So I would be more inclined 30-minute low to sell a call spread. I'm going to put that in a window. I mean, just one DTE, obviously, not longer. So what other standouts? Jack, Jack is a food store, right? Let me put that in a window. That had earnings. That could be a gap and snap put spread. We did a beautiful gap and snap yesterday put spread. Well, no, we didn't make it. We sold the $46 puts on this yesterday. Now you might say, oh, well, great, Dan, you made, little money and you left $10 on the table. Well, yeah, but when we did it in the little pullback yesterday morning, there was no directional pattern whatsoever. So that was a tough cookie to do. But Jack, let's watch it. I'll tell you if it sets up. WSM 125. It's not a directional, McGraw. It's gapping to a ton boatload of resistance, but put spread maybe 110. Yeah, of course. The no-brainer is 102, yesterday's low, but you're definitely not going to get juice there for tomorrow. I would even do the 110s for tomorrow. What is this? NTNX getting its head chopped off. What is this stuff? NTNX. Technology software? man, that's having a bad day. That is ugly. All right, so Dollar Tree and Dollar General are the big yappers. So this one too, 157 to resistance. They're monster bullish gaps, but there's nothing to do with it. Nvidia, you know, holding yesterday's low, but actually 30-minute low, call spread yesterday's high. WFC. Yeah, I like Citigroup better, Thomas. This is a superior pattern. And look, that's gapping up. I'm putting that in the thumbnail. That looks great. Citigroup. Do you see what I'm saying? This is a superior pattern. You had a gap, pullback, gap, 2 inside days, the 20 and 50 are curling with a price void. Target 56.57. I like this. All right, now let me just go to my regular rest of the list here. Avgo. The only reason I'm looking at this is I saw the headline that they're buying VMware. There's nothing to do with that. Oh, Microsoft turned negative. It was up a little bit pre-market. Over yesterday's high, put spread idea. RCL, I was just taking a peek at some of these beat up cruise ships. You know, one DTE put spread idea with some of these retailers up. Look at Nike. Nike's put spread idea. Over yesterday, well, it's gapping over yesterday's high. So that looks fantastic. You had a new low gap reversal. I'm going to put that in the window. That's great for a put spread. Maybe even, but you know what? That's a 30-minute high also, day trade. That's a W bottom. Gap reversal is my retest. It looks fantastic. Falar, XEL, over the high, it's kind of a 1, 2, 3. That's fine. I'll put it on the list. Microsoft, I have on my others. BTU, Michael. Yeah, over the highs, over the week's high. Wow, Home Depot up alarm. Tick 1200. We had a beautiful, look at that Home Depot. We did a beautiful put spread on that. So let's tighten stop now. How about just under 290 is fine. Cliff Clavin up alarm. CLF, I'm already in it. But I have an alarm.